Every teacher knows the fear of being out unexpectedly. You scramble to get the lesson plans together, and when you come back, it looked like a hurricane went through your classroom. The good news is that emergency lesson plans do not have to lead to chaos if you structure them properly. In this video, I'm going to share with you the lesson plan I use in case I'm ever out on emergency, as well as 3 guidelines you want to make sure you have put in place for your emergency lesson plan. The nice thing about these lessons is once you create them, you put them on file and you never have to recreate the wheel again. With that said, let's go over those 3 must-have things you need in your emergency lesson plan. First thing you need is clear directions. What I mean by this is clear directions for the guest teacher, for the substitute. You want to make sure that whatever you put down gives them enough information so they know exactly what your expectations are and what they should do, but not too much information where it becomes overwhelming and very hard to take care of. Now I'm going to show you exactly what I have on my lesson so that way you can see the detail you need to have and what you should cover. But once again, the better direction you have, the clearer the direction you have, the better your class is going to run and the less chaos you have to return to when you come back. The second thing you need to have is a seating chart, and to be more specific, an updated seating chart. Now, just at the beginning of the year, I kind of go over this, and I always go through throughout the year my expectations for my students if I'm ever gone. And what I tell my students is that if they get a good report from the teacher, then they will not have homework the next week. If they get a bad report, a student gets a bad report, then they will have a detention. So I have that carrot and that stick. But regarding the lessons that I leave for the teacher, I tell the teacher, seating chart, make sure students are in their assigned seats. And if you have a seating chart, then that way the guest teacher can make sure that follows through. Because so many problems can be eliminated just with a good seating chart. Now without that, man, you're asking for trouble. Without that, you're asking the substitute to regulate a class in which they can't even identify the students that are in that class. And I'll show you the seating chart I use for my class just so you have an idea of what you should be aiming for. The third thing you want to make sure you have is an assignment that is hands-off, an assignment that the students can work on by themselves without much of the teacher or guest teacher's help. Because here's the thing, if you are expecting the guest teacher or the substitute to implement a lesson, to carry the lesson, and to teach, you're asking way too much from them. Now if they can, awesome. And if you want to give them a little bit of leeway to do that, awesome. But please don't expect that from them. I'm not sure the last time you covered a class or you're substitute teaching, but in my opinion, that is one of the hardest things to do in the education field, is to substitute. I've been teaching for 21 years and I've been at the school for 15 years. And even with all that, if I go into another class that is not mine, the students will test me. Even the same students that are in my class, they're no problem. But when they're in a different environment, will test me. And so if that happens to me, I guarantee with a guest teacher, it's going to happen to them. And to expect the guest teacher to classroom management at the same time as teaching is nearly impossible. So make sure that whatever assignment you have for the students is hands-off. Teachers don't have to be involved as much as they can be, so that way their focus can be on that classroom management. So let me show you exactly what I have for my lesson plan, as well as the seating chart I use. And first, let's start with the seating chart first of all. So here's my seating chart that I leave for the guest teacher, and I have one of these for each period. I have a total of 6 periods, so one of these for each period, and it'll have their names down here. All right, and then also it'll have a space right here as well, and you'll see this when I put the directions up. But one thing I tell the guest teacher is leave notes on the seating chart. It makes it so much easier. And so with this, students can be held accountable because they all have assigned seating, and the guest teacher can make notes right below the student's name. So that way I know exactly who's doing what they should. And the seating chart, by the way, down here would be the front of the class, and up here would be the back of the class, and so forth, but it's pretty self-explanatory. But whatever your seating chart looks like, just make sure it's up to date. And I, if possible, would also make it so that they can write on it. That way it's an easy way of communicating back and forth. Next, let me show you the lesson plan. Now, first I want to point out where the lesson plan is at. Usually, I always do my best to clear my desk so that way there's no confusion at all. And then I have the lesson plan just to the right of my desk area, of my seat. And here's the lesson. I actually tape it down. And so this emergency lesson plan is there. And it's been there actually for like 8 weeks now, because I haven't been out for 8 weeks on an emergency. But it has everything needed on that. So let me kind of start at the top and get real close just so you can read what it says. And it says, to whom it may concern, thank you for watching my class. Everything you need is in the top left drawer of my desk. So I have something already put in place. That way, if I'm gone, I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, did I make copies? I make copies at the beginning of the year for this assignment. And so if you go to the top left drawer of my desk, it is right here, and everything they need is in here. You basically will have a video, which they'll be playing, and then I have my seating chart, which will be in there, and then below that, you actually have the questions that go along with the video, and then you have the 2 remotes down here. So everything they need in the top left. But once again, I have it like this, so that way I don't have to leave it out every single day. It's in one place, it's there, and it's there until it gets used. So it's perfect. It is perfect. And then going back over here to the directions, so you see what the rest of it says, so that way you know the details and everything else. And it tells you, the different periods on what to do. And it tells you this, where I have 6 periods. It tells you advisory. That's the very first thing we have. Tell them to play CNN student news. And I give them details about that. Then periods 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I tell them what to do. I said they'll be walking on, they'll be watching the video, and they'll be answering questions. I even give them directions how to connect the DVD player just in case they need it. Then roles and seating, a role and seating. I said take students, make sure students are in an assigned seat. Do not let them move seats. Behavior, be very firm and strict. And they give you any gift, please send them to the office. And hall pass, the direction for that, miscellaneous, and so forth. And once again, when I tell the students this, but also let the guest teacher know in case they want to use this or remind students, I tell them to write notes on the seating chart, and any negative behavior from a student will result in detention, and any positive for the entire class will result in no homework. But let me show you the exact assignment they'll be doing, because once again, so now we got the seating chart, and now we also have the clear directions, but the work itself is very hands-off. What it is teacher's going to throw in the video. All right, I actually tell them which video to play. They throw in the video, and then students will be given this. These are the questions. And so the assignment for the students will be to answer the questions as the video is playing. You cannot get more hands-off than that. When it comes to emergency lesson plans, the goal should be to keep things simple, clear, and sub-proof. If you have clear directions, a seating chart, and an assignment that is hands-off, the chances of you coming back to a classroom that is intact and a good report from the guest teacher go up tenfold.